All right, hello everybody. My name is Karen O'Donnell, and I am a nurse that started a company called Holistic Inner Balance. And what that is it's a functional medicine nursing career. And what I do is I help people to identify root causes of illnesses and symptoms and allow their bodies to have the ability to change how they function in terms of different choices, different food choices, different drink choices, and to help them with their disease processes. So I created this podcast to help to bring awareness to the self-care and health and wellness community. And my guest today is a very good friend. Her name is Naomi Hall. So I'll tell you a little bit about her first. Thank you so much for being here, Naomi.
Thank you.
So this is Dr. Naomi Hall. She has a doctorate in education. She is a speaker, educator, and stress management coach who helps high achieving professionals reclaim their well-being and rebuild from burnout. With 22 years of experience in classroom teaching, district leadership, and consulting, she understands the pressures today's professionals face because she has lived it herself. After navigating her own seasons of burnout, Naomi became dedicated to understanding how the brain responds to stress and how real sustainable changes happen. She now teaches practical, science-based strategies that help individuals create healthy habits, interrupt overwhelm, and take back control of their lives. Naomi provides stress management workshops and coaching for businesses, organizations, and schools nationwide. Her approach blends neuroscience, behavior change, and real-life application to strengthen workplace culture, support staff well-being, and reduce turnover. Her work centers on 5 foundations: movement, nutrition, hydration, rest, and mindset, empowering people to feel better, work better, and thrive again. I love that. So we 100% align with our mission to help people. So thank you for being here, Dr. Hall.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation.
This is great. It really is. And I know that we have had our own conversations, we've had our journeys, and we have aligned together with how we believe that we can help people. So one of the first questions that I typically ask my guests is share with us one thing in particular that you do for yourself for self-care.
So, when it comes to self-care, exercise is a big piece of that for me.
Mm, yeah.
Just making sure that I'm getting movement in. I work out in the mornings, and then I also am a martial artist. So both of those are part of my self-care and really taking care of my body and my mind at the same time.
That's great. That is so great. And this morning I was actually listening to a podcast, the Mel Robbins podcast. I love her. She had a guest who was talking about that one thing that you do in the morning to, exercise that sets your day so that it creates that habit that you now have. And it also creates other habits that progress throughout the day. You're going to eat better because you exercise and you have the discipline, all of those things. So it's great that you get that done first thing in the morning. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Exercise is such a great thing, and movement, absolutely 100%. So tell us about how you went from, kind of corporate being in the grind of teaching to now you are an entrepreneur.
Sure. I kind of didn't have a choice.
Okay.
I spent 18 years directly in education. I was a teacher, I was an administrator. I dealt with the stress, the burnout. I was let go twice in a career that you think you have job security, you don't. Um, when I burnt out, I had to fight my way back on my own. I had to figure out the tools, I had to figure out what worked for me. I was also battling chronic illness at the time. So the second time I was let go was in 2022. I was told, thank you very much. We don't need you and we're not renewing your contract. Yeah, I was absolutely speechless and dumbfounded. But it was at that point that a very dear friend called and said, hey, if you start your business, we'll support you. And I had toyed with the idea of starting a business for a couple of years, but just hadn't landed on anything. And when we had that conversation, I was like, oh, shoot, like I need to take this seriously.
Mm.
And that's when I realized I was a recovering educator. That was the original name of my business. I was recovering from the stress, the burnout, the politics, And I had the tools and I wanted to give them back because there's just no support in that space
Mm,
for taking care of yourself, taking care of your well-being, pouring into yourself first so that you can be your best for the students, for your staff. So I initially started working with just educators, but
mm,
stress and burnout are not unique to education. So I've expanded to working with companies and corporations,
mm.
um, because when you support your staff and you pour into them to be their best, they take care of all those other indicators that you're looking at as a business owner, as a someone who runs a company, a CEO, something like that. So when we invest in our people, we invest in our companies and our businesses.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting how the shifts happened in your life by uncontrolled circumstances that then created that opportunity for you. And isn't it amazing how that happens?
It is. It is. It's things that you're like, I would never wish for that to happen, but at the same time, it was what was needed to move me on to the next thing.
Yeah. And the fact that you have now created this company with your own experience in mind and being able to create your unique program because you went through it and you can 100% empathize with the people that are going to be going through your program and how to really get through to them versus just, treating employees like employees. I think that's really, really powerful.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, I've been there. And so I get to walk with you through it, knowing and understanding what it's like.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about your program, about your 5-step program. Is it like a specific amount of time that you work with companies?
So it depends on what the company is dealing with. I always go in and ask, like, what are you seeing? What are the pain points that are coming up in your organization? Because sometimes it's just it's just life, and other times there's organizational things that are happening that are kind of creating some of the stressors. And it really depends on the company because each one works differently and has tends toward different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So I approach, data driven professionals a little bit differently than I do more of the emotionally driven type of professionals. So I do customize to what I work with, but I really teach 5 foundations, as you mentioned. And these are the areas that when we get these locked in, these give us the capacity and the resilience to manage the stress we can't control. So it's movement, like I mentioned, daily movement. It's your nutrition, fueling your body well. It's hydration. When we're not hydrated, things don't work well. Our brain doesn't work well.
Right.
It's rest. It's not just sleep, but it's rest and regulating your nervous system throughout the day. And then it's mindset. And mindset is as big as those 4 others that I work on because our mindset affects everything that we do, how we react, how we respond. So I do professional development around those topics. Really, any topic related to stress, I cover for a company. But then one of the things I absolutely love doing is, if possible, being an on-site coach for their staff,
Yeah.
where their staff can come to me and in 30 minutes, it's amazing what happens in 30 minutes. I've had people walk in and be like, I don't know who you are and what you do, but my boss said I should talk to you. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's have a conversation. And at
Mhm.
the end of the 30 minutes, they're walking out going, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I needed. I can feel the stress coming off of me. And, it took 30 minutes and they're going back to their desk, they're going back to their job more focused, more energized, in a better state of mind. And so you've got a better employee on your hands who is more likely to stay.
Yeah.
So really the bottom line is I'm helping you with retention and reducing your turnover rate because your employees see that you see them as a person and you're investing in them as a person.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So that was going to be one of my questions that you work with, from like top CEO managers as well as employees. Do you ever find that you're only working with one if like the managers don't want their employees to be part of it? Is that ever a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'll work at whatever level that you're ready to do. And honestly, it's really good to start at the leadership level because you set the tone and you set the expectations and you set the example. So if you're not managing your stress well, honestly, you're taking it out on your employees. They're seeing it, they're experiencing it, and they're feeling it. But if you can get your stress managed, you
Mhm.
can get yourself in a healthy place, you're then able to share that with your staff. That's able to trickle down to the rest of the company, to the rest of the staff.
Yeah.
So, really, leadership is a great place to start.
Yeah. Do you ever work from the bottom up? Like, have you ever literally worked with employees first and then the managers who didn't even know there were a problem?
Yes. Yeah, I've been brought in to work with the employees. And it's kind of funny because I was in one place where I did a full day of coaching for their staff. I was on site all day, back to back meetings with their staff. And at the end of the day, the manager came in to see me. And I was like, "How are you?" I was like, because I've seen everything from you walk on water to you're the devil incarnate. So, like, you and I need to chat a little bit,
Yeah.
and I let employees know, I'm like, I don't share anything with your boss. It stays confidential. The only thing I share is patterns that I see of,
Hmm.
like, you know what, a lot of your staff are struggling with this, or this practice is really hard for your staff to deal with. So I'm
Yeah.
able to share those patterns with them. So yes, I do work with staff and then work upwards to the leadership to say, hey, this is what's going on with your staff. Here's things that they're seeing. Here's things that they're struggling with.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important point that when you're working with employees and you let them know that it's all confidential, they let you know as much as you need to know. And you
Mhm.
can,
Yeah.
on a different level, objectively tell the manager what is happening that they may not even know about, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
might be like a game-changing conversation that they're like, oh, people see me like that? I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love having those conversations, especially with a manager or a CEO who's very open to those things, who said, like, I have one that she was like, okay, so she highly advocates for what I do. She's like, all right, this is what's going on here. This is what's going on here. This person's struggling with this. I'm going to encourage this person to see you. This person's dealing with this. So she really had a pulse of what was going on with her staff.
Hmm.
And then she really wanted that follow up afterwards to be like, what are you seeing? What do I need to work on? What changes do we need to bring? So that's really a great relationship to
Yeah.
have, where you know your staff, you know what help they need, but you're also open to hearing what you need to do.
Yeah. Do you ever find that there are either employees or managers that like they listen to what you say, but you know that they're probably not going to change anything that they're doing?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I've had the people come in and sit down and be like, I don't have any stress. There's nothing going on. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, we've got 30 minutes that you're not at your desk working, so we can just chat. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you have stress in your life. But if they're not open to seeing it,
Mhm.
it's not worth it for me to, like, push and dig. I mean, I will do what I can, but someone has to be receptive.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you find that you enjoy working with smaller groups better or bigger groups? What's your
Oh,
preference?
when it comes to speaking and presenting, I will do any size group. I love speaking. I love being a presenter. I'm actually doing that this week. So I love the big groups, the small groups. I find you get a lot more interaction in bigger groups.
Okay.
But then I also love, like, the one-on-one coaching. Like,
Yeah.
I love being able to see the progress that people make so quickly when I'm able to
Mm.
work with them one-on-one.
Nice. Do you ever find that you have to sometimes distance yourself from like all of the first off, when you're going into like a meeting or whatever, there might be a lot of anger or, like expressive body language. Do you find that you like soak that in or are you able to kind of separate yourself from that?
It's easier to separate in, like, the larger settings where I'm presenting, just because there's a natural distance
Mm.
there.
Okay.
And I do, when I come in and do those, I also ask the leadership, I'm like, what do you need said that you can't say?
Okay.
Because I often can say the things, because I'm an outsider coming in, it
Mm.
comes off very differently from me. So I do ask those things, because sometimes bosses are like, I wish I could say such, but I know it won't be well received. I'm like, all right, hand it over. I'll say. The distancing is a little bit harder in the one-on-one because
Mm.
you're so connected.
Yeah.
And that is something where I just kind of have to breathe and just focus on the moment and that person and what they're dealing with, because I can be a very emotional person and very empathetic, and that's not always what they need from me in the moment.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit harder.
Yeah. Yeah. So Let me ask you this question that I have been asking my other guests. If you were to, say, go back to your 20-something-year-old self, what piece of advice would you give to yourself, knowing what you know now?
Hmm. It's going to be a rough ride, but it's totally worth it. There are going to be some great things and there are going to be some really, really hard things,
Yeah,
but you'll make it through.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've recently listened to an audiobook and they talk about the different seasons of our life, right? And that we're not the same person that we were as, a child, as a teenager, as a 20-something, as a 30-something. Like we need to embrace those changes. And even if you're on a different path now than you were when you were 20, maybe that path just morphed into something else. Maybe it wasn't the path that you should be on. Maybe it's a path that's not making you happy. It's an ever evolving life, right? So if we think about it that way, yes, it's a rough road from like 20 to here. But to be able to do what you love and to love what you do is worth it, right? Worth
Mhm.
it in the end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So where would you see yourself 5 years from now?
Oh, just growing my business and my speaking, for sure. Bigger stages. I just want to reach more people. And like honestly, the bigger stages is about like more impact and reaching more people at once.
Yeah,
Um, that's really my goal with my business is to grow it, grow my impact, grow my reach of there are people who need what I have to offer. And I want to find them.
yeah, yeah. Well, how will they find you? Tell us how they can reach out to you for your contact.
Sure. You can, I mean, it'll be in the show notes, I'm sure, and all that. So you can email me. I'm Naomi at nrhdynamic.com, and I'm happy to converse and connect. You could also find me on social media, and you will see me living this out very imperfectly. I've had a rough month, and I had a rough month. We're in a new month. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
And I am getting back to my routines and all of that. So it's Dr. Naomi R. Hall on Facebook and Instagram. And I try to be very authentic and share the journey as I go through it and what I'm doing to make sure that I'm taking care of myself and managing my stress.
That's so great. I see a lot of your content. It comes up on my feed a lot, and I truly appreciate all of your wisdom. And I am so happy that you are on this podcast and that we have met each other and we are on our path together. So this is amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad that you had me and that we've connected, and this has been fantastic.
All right, so everybody reach out to Dr. Naomi Hall. She has amazing information and support that she can share with you and your companies. So definitely reach out and we'll make sure everything is linked to this video. So thank you. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
All right.